Missiles are built by adults, but wars are started by small humans. Every war on Earth begins the same way, not with tanks, not with strategy, not with geopolitics. Those come later. The real beginning is much smaller: a wound, a humiliation, a pain someone never learned how to carry. And when that pain meets power, history begins to burn. We like to believe wars are rational. We talk about strategy, national interests, security, economics, alliances. But if you look carefully at history, wars rarely begin with logic. They begin with injured pride. Someone felt disrespected, someone felt diminished, someone could not tolerate the feeling of being small. So they try to become large. And when a small human gains enormous power, their inner conflict becomes a global one. There is a remarkable observation in The Citadel by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He wrote something very simple. A ruler does not truly command armies. A ruler commands the inner state of a people. And that inner state is fragile. If a leader is governed by fear, fear spreads. If a leader is governed by resentment, resentment spreads. If a leader is governed by humiliation, humiliation becomes policy. Nations begin to act out emotions that were never understood. Look at how it works. A leader feels threatened, not physically, psychologically. Their authority is questioned. Their status is challenged. Their identity feels unstable. Instead of facing that instability, they project it outward. Suddenly, the problem is no longer internal. Now it has a flag, now it has an enemy, now it has a justification. And millions of people are mobilized to protect someone's fragile sense of self. Power does something strange to unresolved pain. It magnifies it. A private insecurity becomes national policy. A personal humiliation becomes historical revenge. A wounded ego becomes doctrine. Saint Exupéry understood something many modern thinkers forget. Civilizations are not destroyed primarily by enemies. They are destroyed when those who lead them lose their inner balance. Because a person who cannot govern themselves cannot govern the power. And this is why wars repeat through centuries. Different flags, different ideologies, different languages, but the same psychological mechanism. A small human with enormous authority trying to escape the experience of being small. History remembers the speeches. But the real trigger was often something invisible: a humiliation, a rejection. A moment when someone decided, I will never feel powerless again. And before we reduce this to politicians and generals, look at the smaller arenas of life. A disagreement becomes a fight, a criticism becomes an insult, a wounded ego becomes revenge. The scale is different, but the mechanism is identical. This is how conflicts expand the moment pain is transformed into dominance. Humanity often asks the wrong question about war. We ask who is right, who is stronger, who is justified. But the deeper question is simpler: who is holding power when pain is triggered? An adult or small human? Because the moment the small human takes control, conflict becomes inevitable. Saint Exupéry believed the task of leadership was not domination, it was inner architecture. To build a person strong enough inside that power does not corrupt their perception of reality. Civilizations depend on that inner structure because power in human hands has grown enormous, and our systems can move armies, markets, and entire societies in seconds, but the hands holding them are still human. And history will continue to repeat itself until power belongs to those who are no longer ruled by their wounds. Missiles are built by adults, but wars are started by small humans.